This program is brought to you by thepodcastfactory.com.
How would you like to get more customers, make more profits, and have bigger breakthroughs? Get Doberman Dan's profit-boosting breakthroughs. Normally, this would cost you $98 per month, but right now, for listening to this show, he's giving you a free copy of his Doberman Dan letter. All you have to do is go to DobermanDan.com and sign up to get your free copy now.
Prepare yourself for the uncensored, nothing held back, no BS reality of how business and life really work. Doberman Dan is off the chain.
A priest, a rabbi, and L. Ron Hubbard walk into a bar. Waiting for the rest of the joke, right?
Yeah, then what?
I have no idea. There's no way of finishing this joke that could possibly be funnier or more intriguing than just that first line. A priest, a rabbi, and L. Ron Hubbard walk into a bar. I don't have a finish for it. Maybe one day I'll work on it. But just the opening line amuses me. And that's what this whole world is about, right? It's for my own amusement, isn't it?
It is your show, after all.
It is. It's my show. It's for my own amusement. No, seriously, that has no relevance. That opening line has no relevance to the show today. If I were to title this, I'd say Zsa Zsa Gabor's secret to wealth and living a charmed life. Do you even know who Zsa Zsa Gabor is?
Zsa Zsa Gabor, I remember her from TV, but I don't know much about her.
She's before your time. She was like way before the Kardashians were even a glimpse in their biological sperm donor's eye. She was doing that thang, the being famous for being famous thang. So technically, I mean, she was an actress. And she died this week at the age of 99, by the way. So she died Sunday. Oh, well.
Oh, wow.
On the day we're recording this, she died this past Sunday. She just, like I said, famous for being famous. She had even had her own catchphrase, which was darling.
Darling. I remember that.
And darling. And her sister, Eva Gabor, same thing. Famous for being famous, too. But Eva Gabor was in Green Acres.
Oh, this is like the original Kardashians?
Yeah, exactly. You ever see reruns of the show Green Acres?
Yes. That's where I saw her.
That's her sister, Eva Gabor, or Ava Gabor, however. Anyway, this quote totally caught my eye in this article about Zsa Zsa Gabor's death. So let me set it up, though, first. She was at best estimate, and it depends because it depends on if you count the two marriages that were annulled. She was married somewhere between like 9 and 11 times. So
wow.
Let's just say, to keep the math simple, she had 10 husbands. And none of these were paupers, by the way. One of them was Hilton, from the, I'm forgetting his first name, from the Hilton hotel chain. She was married to him. She was married to all these guys with money, multi-millionaires. And so, yeah, initially she was an A-list actress. And then as her career kind of took a nosedive, she appeared in a whole bunch of B-list films. And then she got out of that business, and her business was just, I guess, marrying really rich guys and living this charmed life.
Good for her.
Exactly. Good for her.
Mastery.
If you can pull it off, that's right. She was a master of marrying for money. If you can pull it off, go for it. This was the quote that caught my eye. This was, I believe, her secret to wealth and living a charmed life. And this was a gossip columnist from Vanity Fair. This was her quote, the gossip columnist quote. She was talking about Zsa Zsa Gabor and her sister Eva. They have always lived with no reality. There was never any truth to anything. Now, I may be reading into this quote, but I read it like this gossip maven was saying that in a negative way. And I totally took it differently. I totally took it as that she just created her own reality.
Yeah.
She refused to accept the reality she was handed And, she didn't come from money. She was an immigrant from Hungary. She totally just refused that reality and created her own. And actually, I take it back. So I can connect this podcast with a priest, a rabbi, and L. Ron Hubbard walk into a bar. I used to joke about the stuff that Scientologists believe in, and I've made snide little comments about it in my newsletter.
I've read them.
You have read them. I mean, it used to appear to me to be like totally batshit crazy. But as I'm older and have learned some things about us human beings, it's almost to the point, just pick a delusion and stick with it. Because as studies now show, even totally false stuff, a false religion, a false reality that you invent, your brain reacts to it as if it were reality. Did you ever see the movie Kumari on Netflix?
Kumari, I'm not familiar with that one.
So that really opened my mind. This dude creates this fake religion, and he fakes being a guru from India. And it's interesting to watch the movie to see how he sets this up, how he sets up this entire fraud of him being this spiritual guru from India. For all intents and purposes, he creates what is his own religion and creates these fake yoga moves and these fake affirmations or things that you say, and follows and builds a following, which he could have built into a national or international cult if he had wanted. But geez, I'm going to try to talk about this without blowing the ending. Let me just say this. Even though it was totally false and it was just a social experiment done for the sake of this documentary, people really, truly benefited from it. So anyway, so that's how I'm going to connect my priest, a rabbi, and L. Ron Hubbard thing walking to the bar. It's creating your own reality. You're exactly what Zsa Zsa Gabor did. Thoughts and feelings are these things that control our destiny. The ability to manifest. Now people are going to think I've gone totally woo-woo. The ability to manifest things in your life are direct results of your thoughts and feelings. Now, anybody who thinks I've gone totally the secret woo-woo, I mean, this is from a very pragmatic basis. This is true, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you had a thought to invest in real estate at one point, didn't you? Or did you just all of a sudden wake up and invest in real estate?
Uh-huh. I had a thought, I hate working for the man and I needed an escape route any way I could get it.
Well, there you go. So that one thought directed you into several things, into real estate, into learning marketing, right?
Yeah. It reminds me of the mastery, like that mastery of yourself, right? Is those thoughts that you're creating for yourself is the future that you're creating. And even Chad talked about that, where he was recording his voice saying affirmations on music tracks or something like that. It's that you're creating your reality however you decide it is. If you think life sucks and this doesn't work and that doesn't work, that's because the way you're thinking about it might be wrong.
Well, yeah, it's like, I forget all the correct fancy technical names for it. RAS, I believe, the reticular activating system.
Lizard brain.
That's the doohickey in your noggin that so all of a sudden, for some reason, I'm thinking I want a Jaguar. And now everywhere I look, I'm seeing them all over the place. The car, not the animal. I'm seeing them all over the place. Now, they've always been there, right?
Yeah.
It's just I wasn't tuned into them. There's only so much your conscious can take in, There's too much going on. The rest of it, has to be blocked out. But, all of a sudden, when you set your thoughts to something, what was there before that you weren't conscious of, now you're aware of it. The Jaguar, for example. And so if you think, well, your life sucks and you look for reasons to support that, you're going to find that. If you think that your life is awesome and the universe is conspiring to give you everything you desire, well, then you'll find evidence to support that. And I think this comment made by this Vanity Fair columnist, which, I believe was said in a very negative way, I just totally thought, no, Zsa Zsa Gabor, she had it together, man. She knew the reality she wanted to create. She wanted to live a life of wealth. She wanted to live that charmed life. The way she went about it, it's not the way you and I can go about it, Jonathan. Probably not. But, she found a way to provide that. And so, yeah, she did live. She didn't necessarily live with no reality like this gossip columnist said. She didn't want to accept the reality that was handed to her. So she created her own.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, I know that sounds all woo-woo and stuff, but I'm reading a really cool book now called You Are the Placebo. Have you ever heard that?
I've heard you mention it before. What is it about?
So this guy has done all these studies on the brain, EEG studies, and long story short, your thoughts are producing chemicals, okay? The people are now calling it SDN, self-directed neuroplasticity, okay? That you can change your own brain. Your thoughts are generating chemicals. So therefore, your thoughts are creating physical changes in your body, which your body and brain react to. They'll react to an imagined experience just as if it's real. And this goes so far as even affecting the DNA, which they used to think was written in stone. Your DNA is what it is. You accept it, and that's it. Now they're seeing that these chemical changes generated by your thoughts can flip on and flip off. It's probably not the right word. Flip off, not flip the bird. They can turn on and turn off certain genes in your DNA. Like you may have the allergy gene. I'm allergic to cats. Well, now they're shown with the brain studies and these scans and EEGs that people with their thoughts, they're either flipping those allergy genes on or turning them off. So, I'm just trying to connect the dots here on how this all works in our life. But I think Zsa Zsa Gabor had connected the dots. And I just find that utterly fascinating when people create their own reality instead of just accepting the one that's handed to them.
Idiocracy. That's what it reminds me of. Those suckers drinking Gatorade and sitting on the throne in front of the TV, just accepting what's put out there for them. Oh, I don't know if you saw it, but they're like, stuff won't grow. They're watering plants with Gatorade. They're putting salt all over their plants and killing them. That's why shit won't grow, man. Oh,
I saw that movie a long time ago.
Yeah, I think everybody should watch it. I think it's mandatory. It's stupid, but the message is right on.
Speaking of TV, we've talked about that before too. I mean, there you're totally accepting a reality handed to you by the television because your subconscious is basically immune from not accepting it. So you got to watch the input, man. If you're trying to create your own reality, you better be really aware of your input.
Yeah, be selective. Only listen to Off the Chain Show and anything from the Podcast Factory, and you'll be in good hands. Watch your input. So, Dan, anything else? I know we were going to keep this one short because we went long on a couple, but anything else you want to say as we're wrapping up?
No, just appreciate you listening. Would love for you to post a comment on a review on iTunes, good or bad. Want to hear from you. We love to get listener mail. We might even talk about you on an episode if you send us some interesting mail, like we did with Alina Medina.
Yeah, hate mail. Hate mail's good. Send us some reason why you hate us. All right, so we'll wrap this one early. This is another episode of the Off the Chain Show with Doberman Dan in the can. We'll be back with you next time. Thanks for listening, and remember, if you want to create rivers of revenue from your existing customers, then the next thing you need to do is go to DobermanDan.com. He's giving away a free copy of his $98 per month Doberman Dan letter just for listening to the show. Go to DobermanDan.com now and sign up for your free issue.
This is the podcastfactory.com.